250 years since those shots in the dark. 13 colonies stood and they lit up a spark. From Lexington Green to the boys on the beaches, we fought for our freedom and we never retreated. We tamed the wild frontier with blood, sweat, and calluses, built cities from nothing with nothing but courage. 250 years of stars and of stripes, of farmers and soldiers and working men's pride. We lifted the world up from darkness and fear. America the beautiful, America the free. We've been knocked down before, but we always got back, with God on our side and the red, white, and blue on our backs. 250 years, let the whole world see, this is still the land of the brave and the home of the free. We ended the evil that chained human souls, gave the world the light that lit up the globe. We beat back the tyrants, we buried the Nazis, put men on the moon, just because we said, watch me. We invented the future, the car and the plane, fed the hungry nations, and we called them by name. 250 years of stars and of stripes, of factories humming and Saturday nights. We carried the cross and we carried the torch, through the fire and the flood. We kept marching on, from Gettysburg fields to the fields of Normandy. Every drop of that blood was the price of being free. 250 years, let the whole world see, this is still the land of the brave and the home of the free. We built the greatest middle class this world's ever known, gave every man a chance to make it on his own. We stood up to tyrants from Berlin to Baghdad, brought down the Iron Curtain, and we made evil mad. Now they're trying to tear us apart from within, but we got a fighter in the White House again. We got a president who loves this country true, fights for the forgotten, fights for me and you. He's bringing back the factories, the borders and the pride, putting God and country back where they belong inside. The greatest nation that the good Lord ever made, still standing tall in the light of freedom's flame. We've had our stumbles, we've had our shame, but no other country ever rose the same. From sea to shining sea, let the anthems ring. This is still America. Let free see.
All right, hello everybody and welcome. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth right here on Starship Adventures. My name is Ian and I'm glad everybody is here tonight. I've got a number of things tonight I think that will interest everybody. But first we're going to start with what's going on the screens. We've got a protest going on. By our current liberal standards, it's a fairly large protest. But as we know, that doesn't really mean a whole lot. Some of these protests, it's like the people that are involved in these protests, a lot of times they went out there because they're just showing their allegiance with other people. About 2 months ago, I watched an interview where they interviewed one of these people that are protesting. By the way, this is an Iran protest, but I can't discern which way. Is it pro-Iran wanting to get rid of the Ayatollahs, so pro-Iranian people against the Ayatollahs? Or is it anti-war against Trump? Or is it pro-Ayatollahs? Guys, I don't know. I'm at a loss, so we're going to kind of watch and see tonight. I think there's a little bit of column A and a little bit of column B. But I will tell you something that's been interesting. I've been trying for 35 minutes now to keep feeds up, and it's impossible. These guys are going on, and then 20 minutes later, they're back off again. Normally, they're not like that. These people stay on for hours, whether they're on the left, the right, or they're doing the media thing. Whatever it is, they normally come on, they stay on. Tonight, kind of a strange phenomenon tonight, as it looks like they're just coming and going. It's kind of weird. I don't know exactly what the deal is. But anyway, let's go ahead and switch this over to radar. There we go. Looks like another one has gone out now. This guy's wearing a MAGA hat. We got him on 2 screens now. So I had 6 independent streams up, and right now 4 of those are gone. So this is incredible that so many people have come and gone. Maybe this thing's winding down. Maybe they're all going home. A couple of them have gotten in their cars and they're driving away. So this may be an early deal. Several of the titles say Iran protest. That doesn't tell us a whole lot. Are we protesting the regime that's in charge in Iran for causing all this? Or are we protesting to help save the good people in Iran that are stuck there behind the lines? Or is this anti-Trump, anti-war? Is this pro-Trump, get the job done? I don't know. Kind of a weird little thing going on here. All right, so we're slowly losing all of our feeds here. I don't know if this thing's wrapping up or what. But I'm gonna keep trying to refresh this with what I've got. All right, and then I got a consumer alert for you guys, and this one's pretty important. Going to be showing some video. This one's going to be important. This thing is being advertised constantly. This thing I'm going to talk about here in about 10 minutes. I am seeing this thing absolutely everywhere. It is literally constantly showing up in my feed. There's 3 or 4 different ones made by different companies, and they're a fraud. And we're going to talk about it. Let me tell you guys something. There is a lot of fraud on YouTube right now. All right? And yeah, I'm saying this. I hope I don't get in trouble, but I think you guys need to know. This is a consumer alert tonight. I'm going to tell you guys, the rise in bullshit advertising has quadrupled in 6 months. And I'm not exaggerating. It's probably a lot worse than that. Have you seen these ads where they pull the thing off and these big, beautiful flowers come out? Yeah, it's AI. That scene never happened. And the girl that walks out with the big, huge bug zapper that looks like a street light? Yeah, it's really only about this big. It's all AI. But I've got one I'm going to talk to you about tonight. It is a complete fraud. I guarantee somebody out there already knows. If you think you know which one I'm talking about, put it in the chat room. Here's your hint. Tonight, a free lesson in thermodynamics. You guys put your answers in. What fake item or what sale item am I talking about from YouTube ads? I know you've seen the ads during my show. What do you think it is? Which one? You don't have to have the name. Just tell me what it is. I don't need the name of the damn thing, because they're all just stupid. So anyway, let's see if anybody can come up with it. But we'll do that in just a few minutes, because I think this one's important, because this might be something that sounds like you would buy. You know, like, hey man, this works. You know, Jungle's got it already. That little AC unit, yeah, we're gonna talk about that. It's complete horseshit. It is 100%. It's a fan. It's a fan. Congratulations. It's a fan. Victor, you got it too. Victor, you got it too. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. It is complete bullshit. I'm gonna approach it from a scientific point of view. I'm gonna show you some excerpts of a video where someone took it apart to see what's inside, and I think it will surprise you what's inside, or maybe I should say it will surprise you what's not inside. Anyway, yeah, some of them use cold water, and those will provide you a slight amount of change in temperature, ever so slight. This is no different than people in the 20s going in the 1920s going to the ice plant. My mom told me about this. Her parents, they used to go to the ice plant, and they would get a big block of ice on really hot nights, and they would stick it in the bathtub and put a fan blowing over it, blowing into the house, and they could cool that house down 6, 8, 10 degrees with that big, huge block of ice, the way they used to sell them back then. And they were sold that way for ice boxes. You put them in your refrigerator, because your refrigerator didn't plug in back then. It was simply a cooler, and then you would, every day or two, the ice company would bring you by, or you would go get a block of ice. And that's why our grandparents still call it an ice box, because it wasn't a refrigerator back then. It did not create its own refrigeration. Yeah, and that Heath, that again goes back to thermodynamics, and we're going to get into that in just a few minutes. There, well, we'll just continue talking about it right now. I don't give a shit. This thing, it's complete fake bullshit. I know you guys have seen them. They look like a little air conditioner. It's completely fake. All that's inside of this thing, literally, is a fan. All right, here's the guy I watched. I'm just going to show you a few excerpts of his video, but I'll also give you his name too, because I like to always credit. This is J-Dub Adventures. J-Dub Adventures. He does all kinds of neat stuff, and he's going to be showing us what's inside this thing today, and he's going to take it apart, and we're going to be here, and we're going to do it right along with him. So anyway, let me see how I'm going to do this. See, there's another one gone out already. I swear I hate this. All right. All right, so here we go. This is what this thing looks like. You guys have probably seen this before, I'm sure, but this is what it looks like. And go give this guy some love. I gave you his name. His channel is JDub Adventures, JDUB Adventures, JDub Adventures. All right, so basically, he's taking it apart. Now, this thing costs, some are $40, some are $60, some are $80. I've seen them as high as $120 for the bigger ones. This is a room AC. They say that it will cool an 88-degree room down to 72 degrees in 15 minutes. Okay? The truth is, and this is the part that's going to blow your mind. The motor in this that creates the wind actually creates heat. If you run this thing, it's actually going to technically get slightly warmer in the room. This thing does not create... Let's start with thermodynamics, okay? Heat is a form of energy. Cold is just an expression. Now, let's think about that. Everybody thinks that cold is the arch nemesis of warm. No, it doesn't work that way. Cold is the absence of warmth. Cold is the absence of heat energy, okay? So nothing's cold. It's just that thing is lacking heat energy. It doesn't have any heat energy, so it feels very cold. And if you remove enough of the heat energy, your skin will actually stick to it. It'll be frozen. It'll be below freezing. So it all comes down to the heat energy, okay? And heat is something that cannot be created nor destroyed. Remember that from school? That's an important one. Heat cannot be created nor destroyed, okay? So if we use this device to remove the heat from the room, where does it go? See, you don't have to be a scientist for this one. This one's easy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. So the reason your air conditioner has to have the piece outside and the piece inside is because it has a collector and it has a discharger. Now, that's not what they call it, but that's what I'm going to call it for this discussion, okay? We have an air handler and we have a compressor outside. The compressor, when you compress Freon, it releases heat. And it goes all through the coils outside, and that's why that fan blows all that hot air. That hot air is not from the fan. That hot air is from your house. It's actually energy that's been taken from your house, moved outside, and then dispersed into the atmosphere with a piece of equipment, okay? So when you're air conditioning your room, that's not what you're doing. I mean, technically, I guess you're conditioning the air. You could argue that you are doing that. You're making it drier and you're making it cooler. You're conditioning the air. But what are you actually doing? What are you actually doing? You are removing the heat energy from the room. You are lowering the available heat energy in the airspace. When you reduce the amount of heat energy in the airspace, the room gets cooler. And then you're comfortable and you can sleep and it's really nice. So there's no way this thing, he's showing you the batteries right there. That's all it is. That's a fan, 2 batteries, because you can plug it in and charge it and then you can unplug it and take it into another room. So this thing actually, they say it provides air conditioning on batteries. All right, so here we go. It's a fan. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's a fan. It's not an air conditioner. It doesn't remove anything. You know, we don't have this technology quite yet, or at least we're developing it now. What if we could turn the heat in your room into electricity and then burn that electricity off in fans? So we get air movement and we're using the energy from the room to run the fans. They're learning how to do this, but it's not out for anything yet. It's going to be a while. So other than that, how does this remove the heat from your room and place it outside? It only has 1 unit. It would have to have somewhere where the heat goes in. It's kind of like the Stargate. There has to be an entrance. There has to be an exit. Anything in life, a hose, anything, it's got an entrance. It's got an exit. Okay? This is the same way. If the heat goes in the entrance, It has to come out the exit because there's nowhere else for it to go. You cannot remove it. There's no mechanism to remove it. There's no expanding freon to suck all that heat energy in. By the way, if you ever hear the term anhydrous ammonia, it actually is another chemical that can be used like freon. It's just a little too dangerous to use in cars and stuff, so we normally use freon. Freon is not near as deadly. But yeah, believe it or not, a lot of your big factories and your big refrigeration plants and all those different things, they will actually use anhydrous ammonia because it actually has a faster and has more depth in the amount of heat that it can suck up and release. And so they'll use anhydrous ammonia. However, when that stuff starts leaking, you have to evacuate neighborhoods and shit, and it becomes a real problem. All right, well, there you go, guys. This thing is garbage, okay? Anytime someone tells you... Now, I want you to think about something. There is an air conditioner that does not have a piece on the outside. There is. But it still removes the heat out of the room, and let me explain how, okay? There's these stand-up units with the big hose that comes out the back, okay? They're extremely inefficient. Extremely. They're not going to buy you that much, but they work. What they do is they expel the heat through the hose along with a little bit of the warm room air. So in other words, the intake comes in, about 25% of what comes into the intake is blown out the hose, along with the heat from the room, okay? So in other words, you don't need a piece on the outside. However, here's a couple of things with this kind of air conditioner, because they're using them in the Edison Mall right now. And the people in there are like, these things aren't working. They're putting them all around and they're not working because they're running them into the attic. Attics aren't vented, at least not in a department store on a first floor to second floor. And now they're like, well, now the second floor is hot. Yeah, because you've just pumped all the heat from the first floor into the first floor attic. It has nowhere to go. The only way those work is if the hose actually goes outside your house. And number two, because you're expelling off 25% of the air you're bringing in, there's recovery air, just like with a fireplace. The reason fireplaces are so incredibly inefficient is because every smoke that goes up a chimney brings all that air with it, which means it has to suck in more cold air from the outside. When it's -8 degrees and you're burning a big roaring fireplace and you're wondering why the house just doesn't get warm, it's not going to get warm. All your heat's going up the chimney, and it's sucking the heat out of the room, and it's blowing that up the chimney too. There's not going to be anything left. All you're getting is the radiational heating coming out of the front, which is spelled off pretty quick because it's sucked right back into the fireplace again. Once it lands on a surface, and then it will get sucked back in there. So the point is fireplaces are very inefficient because of the return air problem. These ones I'm talking about with the big hose, those have the same return air problem. You're pushing out hot air. You're putting cold air into the room. That's great. You're doing it, right? Yeah. Except everything else is blowing into the room. You've got 95-degree air coming down from your attic, sucking into the room. You've got 88, 90, 95-degree air coming in around the windows in your house. And all this returning air is not much, it's not much cooler than the air we forced outside. So it's extremely inefficient. And it sits there and runs its ass off and really doesn't get you a whole lot. It's kind of crazy. So I recommend against those big stand-up hose units just because they are so inefficient. However, in a portable pinch, they will get you through the night. Well, see, Lambert, if you're using your fireplace, it has to suck in cold air. Matter of fact, if you seal your house, if you got a new home with a fireplace, There's probably a force vent somewhere, so a vent somewhere that will open up in the case of a negative when the air in there has a negative pressure. Because what happens is, again, it's sucking all that air out. If for some reason you got a seal on your home, the smoke would begin to come into the house because it has nowhere to go. There's no return air for it to go. And so part of what makes a fireplace work is you got to keep cold air coming in behind it. Again, incredibly inefficient. Number one most inefficient way to heat is a fireplace. Now, you can do better with potbelly stoves, although they're dangerous. You can do better with some other things, but the best thing to heat is some kind of gas in a closed system. A heater that's built into your home that runs on natural gas. If you're up north, that's your best plan right there. That's your best plan. And have a battery system set up so that you can run that heater without electricity. That's something a lot of people don't think about. They got this beautiful heater, but how do you run that fan? You need to have an auxiliary fan in there, or you need to have a way to power that fan while the power's down, like there's an ice storm or something. You want to be able to power that fan so that you can light your burner, and you can run air across it, and you can warm your house even with no electricity. So anyway, back to this. Well, there you go. Deploribus probably knows a lot more about this shit than I. Am I right so far? Am I doing okay? Yeah, propane's another great refrigerant. It's just the flammable properties of it make it a little less than desirable. Like I said, with the anhydrous ammonia, it's the health effects that get you. With the propane, it's the explosive effects. With Freon, it's kind of just environmental effects, and it's not all that dangerous right there in the moment. Let's see here. All right, very good. Let's see here. Yeah, nothing runs like a train, right? I mean, that's what they say. No, I hear good things. They advertise a lot down here, train. You guys got to understand, this is South Florida. It was 97 degrees here today. Then we had the big boomers come through. But let me tell you guys something. It is hot this year. It's hotter than normal. I get in my car, and it's like the seat is 150 degrees in the car. Yeah, it's crazy. And so this year more than ever, these air conditioners seem to be working harder. We have a weird phenomenon in Florida. Our warmest month is June. When you look at the aggregate, our warmest month is June. And you're thinking, how the hell is your warmest month June when everybody else's warmest month is August? Well, I'll tell you why. We get big thunderstorms in August every single day. By the time we get to the second week in July, we are in our rainy season. See, right now, we're in the last few weeks of the dry season, although it's been raining fairly steady. And our drought index numbers are down, I think, 2 out of 5, 1 out of 5. They're getting pretty low. But we get all that rain in late July and August and even early September. We get all these big, huge thunderstorms created by the opposing sea breezes and the lift in the atmosphere. And so because of that phenomenon, we get a lot of that. But this time of year, we're getting the trade winds out of the Gulf of America. When we get the trade winds out of the Gulf of America, it tends to blow the thunderstorms over to the East Coast, meaning we get sunlight all day. And we go to bed at night, it's still 83 degrees outside. It sucks. And have you guys ever felt 83 degrees and 100% humidity? A lot of people have never actually experienced that. If you walk out of my house and you're in there and it's 72 degrees, because I like it cold, when you walk out of that house into the outside and there's like a fog in the air and you got 100% humidity, everything's dripping, and it's 82 degrees outside because it never rained, it's like someone threw a blanket over you. It almost like takes your breath for a minute. It's really cool. And it's really terrible all at the same time. It's kind of like, I've heard things about, I've never been out to the desert, but when I was a little kid, But I hear that when you're out like in Nevada and out in places like Oklahoma, that the air gets so incredibly dry out there that it's kind of a shock to the system. And it's the same thing down here with the humidity. It's like a wet blanket. That's cool. That's good, Deploribus. Most big companies that are widely successful, like Train and others, they know that shipping a bad unit is nothing but cost down the road for them. So even if they take and have to hold on to these units for an extra day, just to make sure that when they ship it, it's good, that saves you money all the way down the food chain and back. And so nothing's better than having equipment that works when you plug it in and works for the time that it's supposed to work. All right, let's see. So let me get this off of here. I didn't realize that was still on there. Oh, somebody just got speed cameras. I think that's Philly. We have to fight against these freaking AI cameras, these flock cameras, these speed cameras, these red light cameras. They're all nibbling away at our rights. They're all tracking where we're going. They're all tracking where we've been. They're photographing us while we sit in our cars. And they track our tags and where we're at. And when someone gets murdered, they go back and they start looking at these cameras and see who drove through that neighborhood that night. And then they start hauling people in that had nothing to do with anything. And if you guys think I'm crazy, YouTube or video it, YouTube it, look it up on Google. It's happening all the time. This is a real problem right now. These cops are trusting this AI, and they're not doing the gumshoe work to make sure that it's correct. And that's a problem. All right, what do we got here? We got 2 tornado warnings. Here they go. Here's what we got, guys. 2 on top of each other, tornado warnings. This is a extremely dangerous situation here. Let me see. What do we got? Oh, I see the severe thunderstorm warning. Well, wait a minute. That doesn't show either. There it is. Yeah, this is the severe thunderstorm warning, and it is an extremely dangerous situation. That's weird. They use the word extremely instead of particularly, like they normally do. But it's an EDS. It's observed, and it's in Oklahoma there, and it's moving southeast, and we've got some high wind gusts reported here. Here's a wind gust here that was reported 86 mile an hour wind gust. 86 miles an hour, 14 minutes ago. That red square right there. The yellow one was 70. So there's some really strong winds out there with this particular storm cell. So we're going to continue to watch this one here in the window. We have no storm chasers out there right now. This could produce a tornado. Let's take a quick look on it before we move on to the next thing here. Let's put this on here. Yeah, there's a little bit of a couplet trying to form there. All right, so guys, basically just to finish this last story up real quick, anytime you see something, ask yourself, how does it work? Think beyond the box. How does it work? Because the first dead giveaway with this air conditioner thing is that there's nowhere for it to spell off the heat. None. Which means it either has to use a wet, something wet, or a mister. Some of them mist. This one doesn't do any of this. It's simply just a fan. And I guess they sell it to you and then you can't return it. That's the scam. I'm going to give you the reason they're not selling it on Amazon. Because it's a scam. The reason you have to buy it direct from the company, all these pretty blue wildflowers that you see, these neon blue flowers, And when they pull the thing off, this plant just bounces out and it looks beautiful. Horse shit. It's all AI. Yes, dispatch. I read that. That's cool. I'd be glad to help you. I do. I don't look at you guys as competition. I look at you as friends, and I would love to. I'd love to help you if there's anything I can do, whatever I can do. I can show you. We can get together on Zoom for an hour, and I can run you through everything I do if you want. I would be more than happy to do that. Not bad. It's thanks to the Joe Biden economy, it's mountain lightning, but that's okay. I actually switched to Czech soda while Joe Biden was president. And then the Winn-Dixie went out of business, and we got an Aldi's, which is terrible. So I go to Walmart now, and I got used to the Mountain Lightning. And now when I drink real Mountain Dew, it's a little weird. I don't like it. It's a little, I don't know, a little citrusy, a little weird. All right, so look at that, another mall closing. They listen, guys. The malls are failing all over the country, and people are always like sad about it. They're like, oh my god, but it's like this is just inevitable. I've seen this coming for 20 years. The day Amazon was founded, your mall started running a clock. All right. I'm sorry. It's true. Now, some of these malls will be around for 30 more years. Edison Mall down here in Fort Myers, named after the famous inventor Thomas Alva Edison. It's doing really good. It's about 85%. We lost to Sears, and Sears owns the store. So they've got this big dead end sitting at the end of the mall down there. But other than that, all the anchors are in place. All of the side stores, there's probably only about 6 vacancies, 7 vacancies. It's a big mall. It's doing good. It's struggling. They're not getting crowds. There's issues. There's lots of turnover, but they're still hanging in there. The Charlotte County Mall, I think it's, what is it, Gulf Coast, something Town Square Center or something. Anyway, that one there, we like that mall. It's a great mall. But that one's at about 55% occupancy. The food court has about 40% occupancy. So, yeah, there's a Sabero's, and I think there's a Charlie still there, and 2 Asian places. And that's it. Oh, no, and a Greek place. That's it. So 5 out of 12 spots. We went to the one in Sebring the other day. It's still open, but it's a small town. It's a cluster of small towns along 27 in the center of the state, and that mall there is not doing all that well. It's probably at about 35 or 40% capacity. The food court has 2 out of 10 restaurants, and it is I could do a whole series on failing malls. I watch these urban explorers, okay, because I don't like to go out and get arrested, so I just watch them. But I watched one the other day on a thing in Pennsylvania, Virginia, called Military Square. What an amazing mall this was. Absolutely amazing multi-floor mall. And had a big hotel, like a 7-story hotel that came up through the middle of it. And it was a really, really cool thing. And it is literally on its way out, unfortunately. All right, here we go. We've got an observed tornado on this one near Cheyenne Wells. This is going to be in eastern Colorado near Cheyenne Wells. We've got a possible tornado. This one has been observed, and it's been reported by a trained weather spotter. That's what this little mark is right here. Tornado, 12 minutes ago. Let's take a look at this on the velocity. Yep, I can see why they're issuing that. It's starting to couple up there a little bit. All right, so we're going to keep an eye on that one. Let's put this back in motion here for a few minutes. Guys, we have shit for storm chasers tonight. We got one here. What's Adam doing? Adam's not doing anything. He's taking a dump. All right, what else we got? I don't see shit for storm chasers tonight, guys. It's kind of weird, to be honest. And you want to know why? Here's one of the reasons. This didn't show but just a little teeny bit of yellow. And now all of a sudden it's showing this big long strip of yellow. So a little worse tonight than I think they thought it was going to be. Now tomorrow, we've got an area up here, eastern Montana, western North Dakota, and northwestern South Dakota, including very northern Wyoming. We've got a area tomorrow that is 3 out of 5. That's going to be a fairly good risk for severe weather, hail, excuse me, hail and tornadoes and belch. All right, so there you go, and that's day 3. Day 3 again, way up here, Minnesota, North Dakota, a 2 out of 5 day for you in 2 days on Sunday. All right, we're expecting lots of thunderstorms tomorrow here, but then Sunday it's going to go back off again. So we'll see how it goes. Taking Mom on a drive tomorrow. I'm not sure where we're going yet. Well, dispatch, that's awesome. I'm into it. I'm helping with it. If it's at a time I can be there, I'll be there for you. So, yeah, let's do it. Your mall's going dead, Victor? Yeah, I believe it. A lot of them are. We went to a couple over in Miami, and they're doing great. But they are big, huge, like phenomenon malls. You know what I mean? The ones in the smaller towns, obviously, going first. But, yeah, it's crazy. Oh, what else do we got here? Let me take a look and see if I can find any more videos real quick to fill a few of these holes. Let me go back up and try this again. That Iranian, the protest on the top, somebody asked about that. We had an Iranian protest going on. However, I had 5 different views up. They're all gone. They all literally shut down within about 20 minutes of each other, which normally, and by the way, the 2 that stayed on got in their car and drove. So I think it's over. I literally think they packed up and left before dark. I think there's a concerted effort by some leftists right now. And I'm just saying this. This is something I believe. I don't know for sure. But I believe that some of the leftists right now are trying to dissuade some of these people from going out and doing this stuff. I think they're saying, look, guys, the inflatable costumes, the washed-up wedding singers, the FUCK police on all the walls, the destruction of federal buildings, the blocking of streets for citizens and ambulances, none of this is working for us. None of this is getting us towards the goal, okay? They've been trying to talk them ICE officers into killing themselves and quitting for how long now? And it ain't working, all right? The administration's not changing. He's in office for 2.5 more years. Get over it, all right? And then you can deal with Mr. Vance. It's not going to stop anytime soon. And all these protests, I think the left is starting to realize they're losing political clout. They're losing political horsepower because of these stupid ass protests. I believe that, and I think some of them believe it too. And I think that because of that, some of the powers that be out there are saying, look, everybody, we got to stop doing these protests. They make us look bad. Hey, a boo-boo. And I really think that's what it is. I think that and the funding stopped. Every night, 200, 300, 400 people in front of Delaney Hall. And then some bad press comes out. They have a bad week. Next thing you know, the buses quit showing up. Everything starts quieting down. We've seen nothing in Portland. I have checked every night I've come on for anything in Portland, and there is absolutely nothing in Portland. It's just not happening, which is crazy to me. But they did this for so long, I think that some of them are being told, stop doing the crazy. The crazy's not working. I also think that the people with the money are holding back on the money right now. They're like, let's stop. We're not getting anywhere. We're spending a bunch of money. We're graffitiing up a bunch of federal buildings, and it's not getting us anywhere. So I think those two factors, plus the third factor, which I think is very important, and this third factor is protest fatigue. And I think we're seeing a lot of protest fatigue right now. I think we're seeing people who are just, they've had it. They're done. They've been protesting for months and nothing changes. Nothing gets done. It's stupid. It's a waste. And I think a lot of them are starting to feel that, hey, you know, I love exercise and free speech and all of it, but we're not getting anywhere. And I think that's part of it. I really do. And so between all of those factors I just told you about, suddenly we're seeing a lull in all this activity. We're seeing a lull in protest activity. Now tonight we've got this, I believe that's live in the upper center, but I don't know. I'm going in right now to see if I can figure it out, if that's live and what else is available. It looks like most all the local shit has gone down. You know, people here, it's like, it was a big protest. There was 400 people there. There was 400 people there. They protested that guy getting stabbed over in the UK or whatever. There was 200,000 people at that protest. So what we're seeing is a small vocal group of persistent protesters. We're not seeing huge numbers. We're not. Could be something to do with the World Cup. I believe the one tonight here that we're watching had something to do with the World Cup. I believe there was a game today and they were protesting outside the game or something, but I'm still not even 100% sure on that. All right, so I made a purchase today. Actually, yesterday. I bought a new phone. Yep, I sure did. I've got this old Motorola phone that's like a spare that I've been using for. I've had it for like 3 or 4 years, and when I need my phone and something happens to my other phone, anyway, I had bought the one that you're looking at me through is an old one. It's an S10. And I had them ship it to me, and the phone company couldn't turn it on, so I ended up just keeping it. Because I liked it, and it works great as a camera. Speaking of, I better plug it in, or it's not going to make the end of the show. But yeah, this particular one here was so good as a remote camera, I kept it. And I bought an S20, and it worked for about 6 months, and it quit. And I don't know why or what, but it is what it is. So I went back to the spare phone over and over and over. I go back to my spare phone. Well, I just put the spare phone aside again. I bought another S20, Samsung S20. These have really, really good screens, really good cameras, and should be a bunch of different stuff. Yeah. My biggest problem right now is the buttons are backwards. Yeah, the buttons are backwards. Why do they keep changing them back and forth? That is freaking stupid. It's foolish, and it pisses me off. Why the buttons are backwards. I can't stand that. Anyway, whatever. Okay. But yeah, this what's really great about these phones is the speed of the processor. I'm going to be able to do much better live streaming with this than with my other one. everything's better with it. Everything. And the screen is just really nice. It's a beautiful, beautiful screen. It's brighter in the sun, things like that. So I'm looking forward to having a nice new phone again. Yeah, Joseph, but then if I find a live stream, I'm on a different machine. That's why this machine has 5 screens, so that I can do it all on the same system and cut and paste. Cut and paste a link directly in. Works the best. All right, I don't see anything else, guys, so let's start going down the list and seeing if I can find anything else going on tonight from all the stuff we normally search for. Let's take a peek here. Okay, nothing at Delaney Hall. BG on the scene is not on the scene tonight. He was out every day for 2 or 3 weeks straight and then just stopped like a week ago. Boom. BG on the scene. I know you guys have seen his logo. And that's to remind me to put Scott's show in tonight before I go to bed. Lenovo makes Motorola. That's cool. Yeah, the Motorola phone's not bad. It's just an old, cheap phone. It was cheap when I bought it. And it's old. And it still works. But it gets me by. All right, I don't see anything there. Not much there. So yep, I got a new phone. And this one I bought from Amazon like I always do, $149. And I am very happy with it so far. I already know exactly what it is because I've already had an S20. It doesn't have an earphone plug, which is a disastrous mistake on Samsung's part. But I don't use it that much, and I have a little box I can use with it if I need to. I do not put Bluetooth in my ear. I don't think I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I want to know. I think this whole thing with the gay banners everywhere and painting the telephone poles with gay pride colors and everything's gay and this and that. Guys, I got to tell you, I'm getting sick of it. I'm tired of it. You know what it makes me want to do? Let's make up a straight flag and let's start painting that shit on everything. I do chicks. Let's paint it on the walls. How stupid is this? Who walks into a meeting? Hi, I do chicks. Gays do. Hi, I'm gay. I do other. Why would you do that? Nobody cares what you're boning. Okay? Nobody cares. And I'm sick of it, them putting it everywhere. Rainbow benches, rainbow crosswalks, rainbow flags hanging in schools next to Old Glory, if Old Glory's there at all. I'm sick of it. Be gay. I'm happy for you. Just don't get any on me and quit shoving it in my face every chance you get. It's their whole identity. You're right. I think if they suddenly, if that community suddenly didn't have that, they wouldn't have anything. It's literally like all their eggs are in that one little basket. You know, everything they do, everything they think about, everything, every weekend they spend their time. They end up getting fired from their job over it.
MMIW G2SLGBTQQIA+.
That's right. Why does everything have to do with that? Why can't you be gay and I be straight and we live together? I think that would be great. But they're always wanting to divide us. They're wanting to divide us. And say, look, no, you don't come over here because you don't suck the right thing or you don't do whatever. What? Why can't we all just accept? What does it matter who or what we do in our bedroom? My God. Quit painting that shit on everything. They've stolen the rainbow. You can't even make things in rainbow colors anymore because I made a website one time for a client and it had like these 4 colored stripes that went up and across. He says, I don't like the stripes. They look gay. I'm like, I give up, dude. I can't even use more than 3 colors on a website or it's gay. How did they get to hijack the primary colors? Yeah, and then they've got the inclusive one now, and the one that includes indigenous people, murdered women, brown people, and what was it? Oh, I don't remember. It was something else. It's the MMIW. It's the murder. It's murdered and misgendered women, and indigos and G. And then I don't know what that first G's for. And then there's I gotta look it up. Hold on. I can't. I gotta look it up. I mean, if we're going to talk about it, let's go ahead and let's do it from a factual basis and not guess, because I don't know what that first Q is and I don't want to mess it up. My goodness. Okay, here we go. The first M, and what we're talking about is this.
Of MMIWG2SLGBTQQIA+.
It's a group of people that doesn't involve most of us. And if it does, that's cool. All right, so the M, the first M is for missing. So that group now covers anybody that's missing. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's wide, right? I mean, it's, I guess anybody that's missing. The second M is anybody that was murdered. So it's right off the bat, it's a club for missing and murdered people. Okay? Missing and murdered. What's the I for? Indigenous. But which indigenous? Because our Native Americans came here across the land bridge. There was actually at least 2 to 3 other societies living here before them. So who's really indigenous? I submit that all of the people who were indigenous on this land have been killed 3 times over. Hey, Jungle Jordy, thank you for that. Cali Prepper 76, you just got you a guest membership here at Starship Adventures. Compliments of Jungle Jordy. Thank you very much, Jungle. I appreciate that. So you got missing, murdered, and indigenous. Now, we don't know if they mean the most recently indigenous. I was born here. Am I indigenous? My great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was born here. Am I indigenous? The fourth W, or the W, is for women. So now we've included all women in this group. Okay? All women now are included, even if you're straight. Even if you don't eat at the Y, if you know what I mean. You are absolutely good with this one if you're a woman. The G, girls. So this includes underage women as well. So if you are a 6-year-old girl, your daughter at home right now, in bed, trying to go to sleep, is included in this. She's a girl. Girls are included. Isn't that awesome? So your girl is part of the MMIWG2SLGBTQQIA2S+. So isn't that awesome? And then now we've got 2S, the two-spirit. Indigenous native people who embody both masculine or feminine spirits. This does not have to be an indigenous person, however. So in other words, if you wake up one day and you're a giraffe, and you wake up the other day, the next day, and you're a black female lesbian, then you are actually two-spirited, and one of your spirits is a one of your spirits would be a, I don't know. Let's not. I'm really, because I don't know if the giraffe is bisexual or not. So I don't know. How can you say? So anyway, okay, so we've gotten through this now. MMIWG2S. That's where we've gotten so far. The next one is for L. L, we all know what the L's for. The L's for lesbian. That's right, L for lesbian. And then we got the G for gay. And then we got the B for bisexual. They got it made, those people. It's like they don't care what's down there. Let's just get it on. And then you got transgenders. These are the ones causing all the ruckus right now. These are the ones ruining women's sports. That's right, transgenders, people who, and I'm going to say something right now that's a little bit more controversial than some of the other things I've said tonight. You're not transsexual unless you've done something about it. You're trans-curious, okay? Let's get this straight, you know? If you think about doing it but you haven't done it yet, you're bi-curious, right? Or you're gay-curious, whatever. There's all these different words, right? But how can trans people? They're just curious. They haven't had the wapadicotomy, or they haven't had the addictomy surgery yet, or any of that. Maybe they haven't even had hormone treatments yet. You know? It's simply just makeup and some tuck. And so, if that's all it is, then are you transgender, or are you transgender curious? And I don't think transgender curious, just because you put a dress on, doesn't make you transgender. That makes you a cross-dresser. Most male actors have cross-dressed at least once in their career. It's not a deal breaker, okay? But you're not transsexual if you're a guy with twig and berries and you wear a skirt. That doesn't make you transsexual. That makes you a cosplayer. Now go get that puppy cut off, okay? Yeah. Go get the Adashanktomy or one of those other ones and change it. Actually change it. Now you're a transsexual. And now you're ruined for life because it never works right again, just so you know. All right. So what's after T for transsexual? This is like the cheerleaders. Give me a T. Give me an L. Give me a G. All right, so the next one is Q. The first Q is for questioning. Questioning. Okay? So in other words, the group is also going to cover anyone who's not sure about pretty much anything. Not sure where to stick it. Good enough. Not sure what to do. Good enough. If you're questioning, you're good enough. That's right. So queer and questioning are the two Qs. Questioning, not sure what I am. Oh, you're questioning, so you're covered. And the next one, I, for intersex. Anybody know? Does anybody know what this one is? Intersex. Let's find out. Intersex is an umbrella term for natural variations in sexual characteristics, such as chromosomes, hormones, and genitals that do not fit typical binary notions of male or female bodies. Okay, we used to call those hermaphrodites, but that's okay. You can call them what you want. But anyway, so intersex is people who either their chromosomes or their orientation of their physical parts or whatever is not typical of binary sexes. Okay, and the next one is asexual. Also includes ally. What the hell is asexual? Would mean that you're able to procreate without a partner. That's what asexual means, but I'm sure they mean something else by it. So let's see what do they mean by asexual reproduction. Asexual is a sexual orientation defined by the complete or partial lack of sexual attraction to others or a low interest in sexual activity. Okay, so basically this is someone with a low sex drive, but they still want to be involved in the whole alphabet soup sex game. It's a broad spectrum. And while some aces may not experience sexual attraction at all, others may only feel it under special conditions. The A stands for asexual or aromantic, lacking romantic attraction, and agender, lack of defined gender. So that's what that one means. So this includes people that don't like sex, don't want sex. It includes them too in the sex thing. Okay. And then the plus. Plus represents all the other sexual orientations, gender identities, and expressions not specifically listed. Now, remember, most of you fit probably one of these, except straight white men. Straight men. Straight men don't fit any of these. But they even stuck it into where all the women are automatically included. So women, you're already in the whole
Of MMIWG2SLGBTQQIA+.
club. That's right, you're there. The full translation is missing and murdered indigenous women, girls, and two-spirit, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, and asexual, and anyone else. Let's see. Why do we need all this? I mean, I hate that these people feel like they need to do all this. I just don't feel like straight folks have been this oppressive. Have we been this oppressive? I don't point and yell queer. I mean, I don't care. I have friends that are gay. I was a cop with it when my partners was gay for years. Not that kind of partner, police partner, but you know what I mean. So I don't know. I was never really that mean to gay people. I never like called them names and threw shit at them. I don't know. They act like they're being persecuted. You know, they act like Jews in the 1930s. And it's like, come on, dude, you're not being persecuted. You're not being marched in the showers with no water, okay? This is not that bad. I tell you, I think what needs to happen, just like what's happening now with politics, is gay people just need to move into areas where they feel comfortable. You know, there's a lot of gay people that live here, and they live perfectly great lives. They're perfectly comfortable. They wish that all this shit would go away. But then you got the other half of the gays that are out marching in parades with our children wearing assless chaps. And I just don't understand the whole thing. It's like, why do we have to make everything about this? You know? When a guy walks in and introduces himself at a job interview as, "Hi, I'm gay," that's a problem. Get up and leave. I'm not even interviewing you. I'll hire gay people all day long, but I'm not hiring somebody that brings that up first. It's the last thing I give a shit about if I'm hiring you. I'll hire gay people all day long because they're generally more talented and show up to work on time. Yeah, there's a stereotype, and you can take that one to the bank. But I don't want to hire somebody that's making their whole existence on this planet about doing that. I think all the gay people, if you feel persecuted, if you feel like you're not getting a fair shake, pun intended, if you feel like you're just, you're not getting it through, pun intended, if you just don't feel like you're being left alone, then move to California where it's friendly. I'm sorry the state's in such disrepair, but you guys can fix that if you want to. Let me turn that shit down. All right. The biggest thing to take away from all this is I doubt anybody in my chat room tonight has a hard time with gay people. We just don't. We don't care. I'm a libertarian. I don't care where you do it, what you do. Just don't get any on me, and don't do it in front of my kids. And I don't have kids, but you know what I mean. Don't. But go do what you want. I want people to have a good life. If you want to be a swinger and go to swinger clubs every weekend and screw 50,000 people, good. Sounds like fun. It's up to you. But don't push it on everybody else. No other lifestyle does this. I want you to think about this. What about Christians? Are they wanting to paint crosses on the crosswalks? Are they wanting to paint the telephone poles with Bible verses? Are they wanting to go out and put it right in your face, put a Christian flag in the classroom, put it right? No, of course not. I'm sure they would prefer a little more of that kind of stuff, and I do too, but the point is they're not putting it in your face like the MMLGTB, They're not doing it like they're doing it. I'll get some other examples, all right? Okay, let's say you have a certain lifestyle. Do you feel like, okay, let's say you're straight. Do you feel like you should walk into a job interview and say, hey, my name's Bob and I do chicks, man. I'm straight as an arrow. No, you would never think to do that. But that's how screwed up these people are. I said today on the radio earlier on my other show, which, by the way, I think I'm starting on TV next week. I'm going to be moving into the other room. And I can talk about it now because we're actually advertising for TV now. So anyway, the point is when you've got all of these people out here with all these special interests and everybody's a victim, and that's basically the bottom line to this whole discussion right now, this is a victim club. It's a victim club with very wide membership. Okay? Because you can be anybody and be in this club unless you're male. Unless you have a twig and berries and you're not like playing with other twig and berries, then you can't be in that club. Yep. So that's what I say. We don't have other lifestyles, okay? And I use Christian because that's a lifestyle. It's a good one. Gay is a lifestyle. It's, it can be a good one too, I guess, but it doesn't need to be put in everybody's face. And so all I'm saying is when you walk down the street, we don't need to see gay flags everywhere. But I'll make a deal with you. For every gay flag you put up, I want to put up a cross. For every gay flag you put up, I want to put up a constitution. And the example Trey Radel used tonight? He said, how about this? How about we start doing it with the Second Amendment? We start putting up posters everywhere. Carry a gun. Don't be caught dead without your gun. Make sure you carry your gun. Be a gun-toting American. Do guns. Be guns. Guns in the classroom. Gun flags in the classroom. I mean, think about how stupid that is, right? But that's simply it's another lifestyle. It's another form of lifestyle. This is how stupid this is. Gay, LGBTQIA2S, MML2+, is the only lifestyle that feels like it deserves to be plastered all over everything. Their flags are at every protest. In California, they're in the classrooms. But your Christian flag's not allowed in that classroom. Your gun flag's not allowed in that classroom. Your POW MIA flag is not allowed in that classroom. In most places, your state flag is not allowed in that classroom. It's supposed to only be the U.S. flag that flies in that classroom. And yet, in at least one state out there, the classrooms are flying the gay flag. How does that make a straight boy feel? Maybe I'm the wrong one. Look, this other group's represented by a flag. Kids sit for a long time thinking about this stupid shit. And this is just going to further confuse. Oh, jeez. What an experience. Ban everything. Gonorrhea. Yeah, and the pronouns. That pisses me off. Hi, my name's Bill, and I go by he, it, whatever. Say, I'm not going to call you anyway, so just go away. Say, that's why I tell you, what's your, my pronouns are man and dude. When you refer to me, it's, hey, dude. What's up, man? Nothing, dude. That's my pronouns. And I'm sure somebody gay out there is going to listen to this conversation at some point and go, that guy is a homophobe. Oh my God, he's a homophobe. No, no. As a matter of fact, most people are not homophobes. You know that? Most people don't care what you do. Most people don't care. And when you hear a comic telling a gay joke, it's not because he hates gay people. That's a comic. That's what they do. My God. You know, we're going to lose comedy if we keep this shit up. You know, we have about half as many stand-up comedians as we did in the 90s. Every stand-up comedian in the 90s did gay jokes. They did black jokes. They also did Hispanic jokes, and they did white jokes, and they did all these other jokes. And chicken jokes and cow jokes. They're comics. I love a good gay joke. That doesn't make me homophobic. I love a good straight joke, too. That doesn't make me homophobic. We've become too snowflakey, man. We become too freaking, come on over, Mama, say hi to everybody. We've just become too much. We've just become absolutely too much of this worrying about genders and all this kind. And then when they get into, well, if you purposely misgender somebody, we want you to be arrested. That crosses the line. That crosses the line into absolute absurdity. Yeah, the 90s was peak comics. It really was. We used to love watching stand-up comics. Everybody, Eddie Murphy to Andrew Dice Clay, everybody had a thing. You had the four guys, the sign guy, the cable guy, you know who I'm talking about, Ron White, and those guys. I mean, look, we've had Gallagher, for instance, old comic, great comic. So many great comics came out of the 80s, the 70s, 80s, and 90s. George Carlin, for God's sake, one of the best ever. You know why George Carlin was great? He wasn't left. He wasn't right. He was just correct. And his humor was awesome. I think he probably skewed left to center, but his jokes hit right on. His jokes were perfect. When he would joke about the 7 dirty words and how stupid it is that we have dirty words, and that the dirty words are actually said more by most people than any of the other words, you know, and how stupid it is and everything. He used to really go into that. And even today, Trey will say on the radio, just, you can only say you can now say 3 of the 7 dirty words. Voting needs to be banned. I don't know how that would work. Let's see here. Yeah, there was a lot of comics on late night, especially if you had extended television. There was a lot, for sure. All right, I got to take a minute, guys, here and see if I can find some more feeds. The feeds are everything I've got up here is ending, and I don't really have anything else. So let me just replace a few of these out that are not doing anything. Yep. So I fixed the plug on the air conditioner. It's all set. It's been running fine. I've got the pump down to one part, and it's working. I'm able to bring water in. But tomorrow morning, I'm going to go out there and run this one part out of the front of the pump and put a new one in with the tape and everything. And I think once I get that on there and I get it glued in, I think I'm going to be good. I think that's going to put me back in business. My uncle had one of those old K dishes or whatever they were, the K band, I think they called it. Those dishes were huge. They were huge, and he had one, and he used to pick up all the networks. And one of the things he used to think was really cool, and it was you would have ABC East and ABC Central and ABC West, so you could watch the nightly news 3 different times or whatever. It was pretty cool. I don't know what poll you're looking at, MP. I don't know what poll you're looking at. If you poll Democrats, only about 30% of them say they love their country. That's true, but that's Democrats. Right now, if you poll Republicans, 92% say they love their country and they love where we're at right now. And when it comes to independence, it's over 50%. So I don't know where that number's coming from. Yeah, I think Seattle's done. Everything's kind of gone. Everything's shutting down in Seattle, so I think it's pretty much over with. I'm going to go look again. I'm looking right now for feeds. I don't understand the product of a factory of voting. There's never anything wrong with voting. There's never anything wrong with voting. There can be something wrong with the people who are voting, and there can be something wrong with the system counting the votes accurately. But there's never anything wrong with a democratic process. No, I actually like our two-party system here. You can check out places like the UK that has an 8 or 10 or 12 party system, and though it doesn't work near as well as it does here. I do believe the two-party system is the best. I know there's a lot of people out there that feel that we need a third party, but I don't feel that at all. I feel that we need a very strong Republican Party, and we need to hold them to the line and keep them conservative. That's what we need to do. Yes, America is divided right about down the middle. The conservatives have about a 4-point advantage right now. But yeah, right down the middle, we're divided. It's true. But only one side is pro-America. Only one side likes America. Only one side wants America to continue to thrive like it's been thriving for 250 years. The other side is anti-American. They wear the black hats. They're always for the bad people. They're always out trying to protest to save the bad dictator or the bad Ayatollah, or to stop the war that needs to happen, or to because they hate the Jews, or because they hate the bad orange man. I mean, when you really look at it, it's always some bullshit with these people. And it is a crazy time that we're in, but the last thing we need to do is not have a two-party system and a good vote. Now, if we can get the SAVE Act signed, that will bring a lot of integrity back to our voting. The truth is we need to make it to where there's no Democrats or Republicans involved in voting, but how do you do that? It is true that 90% of the fraud that's been caught has all been people on the left. But, I mean, how do you police this? The only way to police it is to have 3 people, 4 people everywhere, watching everything, doing everything. We need to stop places like California with this 30-day vote rule that they have. They need to turn their numbers in that night and quit waiting around to gather up more votes like they did for that woman in L.A. They literally, the Republican was coming in second for the runoff, and they held the election until they could get enough votes made up for the other woman, the socialist, and now the socialists running against the Democrat in the primary or in the general, and the Republicans out. It took them 7 days to manufacture 50, 80,000 votes or whatever it was to turn that back around for them. Okay, that doesn't equate. You're telling me the people, first of all, the left is 6 times more likely to be on antidepressants than the right. That's a fact. Number 2, you cannot judge whether people like their country or not based on who's taking antidepressants. That's a non sequitur. Most people are not happy or mad because of their country. They're happy or mad because of their finances or their job or their boss or their spouse or their kids or their schools, whatever. No, I don't believe in turning this into some kind of religious state either. I do believe in a separation between church and state. Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare. We've got one left wing now, and it's everything we can do to keep them out of power. Because every time they get into power, they ruin everything. Hence the 20 million illegals that we're trying to get rid of now. I actually want, I think you were talking to somebody else. Voting has made an American that nobody wants. That's not true at all. The majority of Americans voted. This is what they wanted. They're getting it. We're on the mend right now. Things are doing great. I mean, I don't know where you're getting this stuff. It's just not the way it is in the real world. Then don't vote anymore. If you don't want to vote, don't vote. Voting is democracy. Democracy and capitalism are what's made this country great. If you can't see that, I'm sorry. Just, it's the way it is. Republicans aren't deporting. You're just saying shit to troll me now, aren't you? You're literally just a troll. You're just saying things to incite me at this point. We have an absolute hand in our future. Look, the left let in 20 million illegals. They had an absolute invalid as the president. They were signing things with an auto pen. The world was a mess. Inflation was 10% a year, end over end. The thing was ruined. All right? We fixed it with a vote. We fixed it with a vote. I hope you can hear me. Papa Bailey's, Pulse Motors, thank you for joining the Starship. Welcome aboard. Voting does make America. Voting makes America great. And I can prove it because we were in a really bad shape 19 months ago. And we voted and we fixed it. If you can't see that, I'm sorry, but that's the facts. We had a problem. Voting fixed it. Now it's not a problem anymore. Unless you're some kind of leftist. But Republicans won't help end forced integration. I'm not even sure what you mean by that. The Republicans are shutting down the border. They're building a wall that's almost done. And we are making sure that we're not allowing these people to come and dilute our culture. We're going to send all these GD Somalis that have been screwing us out of money, and these Haitians that have been screwing us out of money, and all these special protected status assholes that have been taking all our money and screwing us out of money. They're all going to get sent back. If that's not protecting our culture, I don't know what is. Okay, the Republicans are not for forced integration. In fact, it's exact opposite. I don't know what books you're reading or what parallel universe you're from. We voted us into bass shape. Leftist is a sin. Oh, God, now you're calling for segregation now? No, I will not segregate. Nope, I won't. I want to keep our culture, but I also want people to be able to come here. We learn from other cultures. We are enriched by other cultures. As long as they come here legally and we know who they are and we're taking in a prescribed number of people, I'm all for immigration. I'm all for it. Now, the moment Dearborn starts putting patches on their policemen's arms that have Arabic writing on them, I've got a problem. Yeah, this is what's going on. The left has let so many of these idiots in here from other countries that they're literally trying to change our culture. They don't learn our language. They don't change to our religions. They don't do things the way we do it. They don't grill on July 4th. They come here and begin to create a pocket of their society within ours. That's delusion. That's how you dilute a society down. And that's what the left was doing. The right is stopping that as aggressively as possible by getting rid of the ones we have and building a wall so we don't get any more. Many times they don't assimilate. You know what? Down here in Florida, the Mexicans and the Cubans that come here, many of them do assimilate. They want to be a part of this country. They love this country. However, we're not seeing that much from the Middle Easterners to Somalis to Haitians, places like that, third world countries that are really in bad shape. They come here because they still want to live in their country, but they can't because of it's so bad. So they come here and begin to make their country. This has been going on for a long time. You guys remember Little China? I mean, this has been Chinatown. This has been going on for a very long time where cultures come in and they begin to widen an area out, usually in an inner city, usually in a leftist blue inner city. They will get in there and they'll widen out and they'll create a culture bubble or a culture zone, or as they're starting to call them now, no-go zones. And what these zones are places where another culture has a foothold situation in this country. If you ban left voting, you're not voting. If everyone doesn't get one vote, it's not voting. I can't believe that you want to make voting fair by making it unfair. I mean, that's kind of like them fighting racism with racism. Okay, your culture is Catholic. That's fine. I consider myself Christian, but I am not overly religious. That's cool. Your numbers have gone down for the last 100 years, though. You guys are definitely in an extinction mode right now. And by the way, I'm not much on this Pope. Ugh. He's such a leftist. Then I'm not fighting the left hard as you claim. Non-Catholics aren't Christian. Really? Screw you, buddy. How about that? Screw you. You Catholics have been fucking it up for a long time, all right? So don't even come in here and start your greater than thou bullshit because you're Catholic. Let me tell you something. You guys have been using and abusing this religion for a long time. All right, there's a lot of different sects of the Christian faith out there that I actually align pretty closely with. Okay, that's not one of them. If you saw how few Catholics there still are in this world, yeah, I think you're under 10% now. Yeah. So I don't know why you come in here attacking me and telling me that I'm not a Christian. How about that? How about that? Are you like all the other Catholics? All you care about is money? You want a divorce ban? You're a fruitcake, dude. You can't live like this. What are you, nuts? You've pissed all over everything this country stands for in your diatribe tonight, just so you know. You're literally shitting on the Constitution right now. Only let certain classes of people vote? Oh my God. Ban people from getting divorced? The only thing worse than divorce is having to stay with somebody you hate. Do you think that's fair for the kids? Do you really think that's best for the kids to make parents stay together and fight day after day in mutual warfare in front of those two children? Is that what you want? My God. And you calling me a leftist and a non-Christian? You're lucky I don't just ban you out of my chat room. That's ridiculous. And I don't have to even defend it because I run a right-wing show. I produced the #1 talk radio show in Southwest Florida, and it's the farthest right show there is on the dial. All right? And then I run a conservative talk radio show. So you calling me a leftist is simply you trying to incite me like you've been trying to do for a while now. You're a non-Christian. You're a leftist. What else are you going to call me? Nazi? Call me a Nazi. I love that one. The Pope's brother lives in Florida. Yeah, I thought when we got this hope, there was hope for this Pope because at least he was from this country. But he turns out to be a raging leftist douchebag. Yes, I support divorce. Absolutely, I support divorce. If people don't get along, why make them stay together? That's stupid. Why don't you tell bosses they can't fire their bad employees either? I mean, that's just stupid. You would have children living in a house with two parents that are in constant mutual warfare. Is that what you would have? Does that even make sense? You would force people. Tell me, does anyone in this chat room think we should force people to stay married even if they hate each other? If anybody believes that, put it in the chat room. I do not support abortion. I'm okay with abortion when the mother's life is at risk or when it's rape or incest. Other than that, I do not agree with any abortion. Not from day one. I do not agree with abortion at all. It's a sin. But then again, right, I'm a non-Christian, right? You've already told me that my faith is bullshit tonight and my party is bullshit tonight. We can't vote on divorce because that's not the government's business. Why do you want you are a fascist. Why do you want the government involved in people's marriages? You know, I don't believe that the government should say whether a gay couple should be married or not. I don't think that there should be marriage licenses. I'm a libertarian. I believe that you should be able to do or screw whoever you want, as long as they're of age. Yeah, I think the sponsors might help. Holy crap. Absolutely amazing, guys. Absolutely. I can't believe the backward ass ways people get it in their head that the world works. I mean, it's really backwards. All right. And this segment of the show, in case your belly's hurting like mine, this segment of the show is brought to you by Trumpicid. Trumpicid, a gastrointestinal for a reflux disease. This is some really good stuff. What we're finding out is that liberals get a lot of gastro reflux every time they see anyone with orange hair on TV or anytime they see someone who is successful at business they suddenly break out in a rash, and they get a very upset stomach. So now, next time this happens, when you get your bad orange man upset stomach, try Trumpicid by the makers of Trumpanol. Trumpanol, the #1 treatment for Trump derangement syndrome. Get some today. Trumpanol. Quit being a crazy bitch. Ban fast food. There's another idiot statement. Who are you to tell Taco Bell they can't sell tacos? Who are you to say that you can ban food? Ban certain kinds of food? You're a commie. Why don't you go live in a country where the government controls everything? Where the government says, no fast food for you because you're fat. That's just stupid. Anybody that thinks that we should ban certain kinds of restaurant, you are a leftist. I'm sure you're for salt limits in food and portion limits in food and that kind of stuff too, like a typical liberal, right? Because you keep saying you're a right-winger, conservative, Christian, Catholic, this and that and the other thing, but your statements over and over and over again show us what you really are. What you are is a big government liberal that thinks that the government can fix everything and force people into doing what you want them to do. That's political satire, in case you weren't bright enough to figure it out. It's political satire. I'm not actually selling those pills. Sorry. Thought everybody kind of got that. My statements are inconsistent. Your statements, sir, are inconsistent. You're the one that says that you're a Christian and that you think you should be able to control what restaurants people eat at. You're a Christian, you think you should be able to force people to stay married even after they hate each other. I think that people should be able to use euthanasia. I don't believe that euthanasia should just be something that people just do. But for people who are terminally ill, I think euthanasia is on the table. I think it should be. Ban fast food. Look, I eat fast food at least once a day, and I don't need those pills. Those pills were for leftists that can't stand looking at bad orange man. I don't care if divorce is a sin. Living with somebody you hate, yelling at them and screaming at them in front of your children is also a sin. So get it through your head, all right? You can't force people to stay together. If you force people to stay together legally, nobody will get married anymore, you dumbass. Don't you see how it works? You got to go take a humanities course. Learn how human nature works, for God's sake. The moment you tell people once you get married, you're done, you can't ever change. Nobody's going to get married anymore. And then the ones that do will end up living in some kind of illegal sin. Look, if you're a true Christian, then you know that it doesn't really matter if you sin, as long as you get forgiveness from Jesus. You should know that, though, right? Christians are the biggest sinners in the world. How many priests have been caught behind their church screwing some little boy that's in their parish? Yes, grab a membership and please hit that like and subscribe. I love when we get a troll in here because it's a great way to air this stuff out. I mean, here you got a guy that's telling me that I'm not a Christian because I'm not Catholic. Okay, let's do a little research here. I love researching with AI. I'm sure you hate AI too, right? That's a sin. Um, is I love Christianity and I love Jesus, but I'm not much on the Catholic Church. I'll tell you that. Um, right now, about 19 to 20% of U.S. adults, roughly 53 million people, self-identify at this point. Let's see. Let me go back. Let me get this from the top here. Okay, self-identified baptized Catholics is approximately 17% of the global population. 17%. So you were at 50% just a few centuries ago. So, yeah. Devout practicing Catholics, however, significantly lower. Regular mass attendance and active practices widely practices of attendance vary widely between regions. No single global figure exists, but it's estimated that only a minority, only about 20% of that 17% actually regularly attend Mass on a weekly basis, and they follow the devout rules of Christianity. So I'm telling you right there, there's not a whole lot of you guys left. There's a lot more of the rest of us out here that are Christian and believe and love Jesus Christ, but we aren't Catholics, okay? In the United States, it's about 20%. About 20% say that they are Catholic, but of those 20%, only about 4% attend church regularly and tithe. So there you go. Yeah, look, the Pope is treated like royalty. He washes feet, they kiss his feet. It gets to be a little weird with the foot fetish thing. I think the whole thing is a little weird. They treat him like royalty. They change his name when he becomes Pope, which I think is weird. There's a lot of things that happen in that whole process with the smoke and the bullshit, and all the drama and the politics that go into it. And I don't like it. I wish that our news would stop spending time on it. There's a lot more important things going on in Christianity than what the Pope is doing. %. None of the figures I have are over 20%. I don't know where you're getting 26. Is that in the UK maybe? No, you are tolerant of SIB. You Seoswai. I'm not sure if English is your second language, but I'm having a hard time with some of these. Hey, Yanni, you made it. Yes, we do. Believe it or not, our children come out better when they have genes from different cultures in them. It's a truth. It's fact. It's a fact. You cross-culture a kid with 4 different sets of genes from around the world. They make beautiful kids, and they're very smart. So there's that. But there's also, when you have people living all around you. I got Cuban neighbors over here. I got Hispanic neighbors over here. I got a bunch of crackers back here. I love it. I get along with all my neighbors, and they make some really good Cuban food over there. I love my neighbors, and I love the culture. I love to talk to them about the culture and learn about cultures and learn how to do things from other cultures. Yes, I think it enriches all of us. It enriches all of us. Joey, he's not going to read anything. He's either a straight up troll, or he is just a very confused man that just loves the Pope. Probably a little too much. Yeah, you guys feel free to put scripture in, talk about anything you want in my chat room. The scores on the game, Christianity, I don't care. Everything's welcome. I do want to just mention a few things, though. You know, when we start talking about Catholics and Catholicism as a whole, we are not talking about Christianity. I want you guys to understand the difference, okay? I know I got several friends in here that are even more Christian than I am, and God bless them. It's a good thing. But I'm talking about the Catholic Church, okay? What I'm about to talk about is the Catholic Church. No other organization in the world has had as much sexual abuse scandals as the priests in the church. And the church actively covered it up for decades. Some say it's still being covered up today. They protected abusers. Numerous bishops and cardinals moved abusive priests from parish to parish to parish instead of reporting them to authorities or removing them from the diocese. The Vatican and the church institutions hold enormous wealth. They talk about how it's bad to covet wealth and all this stuff, but yet they do it. They've got it. Art, real estate, investments. While many of their followers live in abstract poverty. The Pope and his followers there in the Vatican live in absolute opulence. Think about it. Historical crusades authorized multiple bloody crusades resulting in the deaths of hundreds of thousands, including civilians, including Jews and other Christians. Inquisition, centuries of religious tribunals that tortured and executed people for heresy in the millions. The Galileo affair persecuted Galileo for stating the earth revolves around the sun. The church persecuted him for saying that the earth revolves around the sun. He was right. This delayed the acceptance of scientific truth for decades. Opposition to contraception bans artificial birth control, which critics argue contributes to poverty and overpopulation in Catholic-heavy regions. And it's absolutely true. Why would you ban your people from preventing pregnancy? Why? Why? Because they're losing numbers and they need to get them back. Biden let in a bunch of illegals. That's how he backfilled. Well, this is how the Pope backfills. Financial scandals everywhere. Multiple Vatican bank scandals involving money laundering, corruption, shady financial dealings over the years. Indulgences include historically sold indulgences, like paying money to reduce time in purgatory. One of the main triggers of the Protestant Reformations, actually. Anti-Semitism, a long history of institutional anti-Jewish teachings, including the blood libel and forced conversions in the past. Residential schools. In Canada and the U.S., Catholic-run schools forcibly assimilate Indigenous children, with many cases of abuse and death. Opposition to LGBTQ plus rights. And see, again, I'm against them putting it in my face. But they have rights. If they want to be gay, they have that right. As a human, as a soul, and as an American. Clerical celibacy. You know, a lot of the whole dabbling with boys and dabbling with little girls, all that stuff that's been going on for all those years, was caused by their own rules of celibacy. Why would you tell a man you can never have sex again? Now go hang out with all them little boys and girls. There's a doctrine in Catholicism that actually says that the Pope is infallible on matters of faith and morals. Many see this as arrogant and without reason. Catholicism bars women from priesthood and leadership positions. You guys think that's right? It's wrong. It's deeply patriarchal. They had, with COVID-19, Catholicism had very mixed messaging and resistance to vaccines from some traditionalist factions. There was a very inconsistent response to COVID-19. Some parts of the church were all head over heels in, other parts of the church were head over heels out. Child witch exorcisms, parts of Africa and Latin America, Catholic priests have been involved in violent exorcisms of children accused of witchcraft. Slow into reform. Critics argue that despite scandals, the church remains resistant to any kind of meaningful structural reform, transparency, or accountability. So when you look at this, that's the church that you're backing right now. This is what you're backing right now. So you believe the COVID shots should have been mandated. Is that what you believe? I'm serious. Do you really believe that we should have mandated the COVID? Because you realize now those shots are killing people and they didn't work. The two facts we have right now for sure, they're killing people and they didn't work. Fact. But you're still okay with the the Catholics making us take those shots. The Pope has no right to order in vaccinations. He shouldn't even be involved in that. But see, he's always got to get political. Yeah, why one shot's good, the other shot's bad? No, all three of them were bad. None of them were good, and they all three caused fatalities. The Catholic Church is the largest espionage network in the world. It could be. It's hard to argue against that. Catholic law is universal for all mankind. So this guy is so greater than thou that he feels that the rules that he chose, that he thinks are the best, should now be forced on the rest of us in the United States of America, a free country. So you want to force Catholicism on me? Should I be forced into Catholicism? Should I have to go to Mass? Should I have to tithe? Maybe the government should just tax me for that too and give the church part of it. Okay. Well, actually, states can divorce out of the union, but it's a lot of paperwork, and it'll probably never happen. No, it would be almost mathematically impossible, but it is there. It is a possibility. I don't know. Only 3 or 4% of the United States population goes to confessional. 3 or 4%. That's 40 out of 1,000 at best. Catholics can't disobey. What about all the priests that are diddling boys in the back parking lot in their Buick? What about them? Yes, I absolutely support voting. That's what makes us a democracy, and that's what makes it work. I think J.D. Vance is a Catholic, sure. I think most of them identify as Catholic. Guys, you realize he's just a troll, right? I mean, he doesn't apparently know the first thing about Catholicism. This is all... I accused him of being on the left, so he had to try to take a right a right stance. So, and he picked Catholicism. I mean, I could have Google come up with 1,000 reasons why we don't want to do that. Yeah. You can be a good Catholic. I'm not. I want nothing to do with that church. No, the troll is feeding my algorithms. Please understand what's going on right now. The troll is feeding the algorithms. I'm having a good time. That's a good question. Which book of the Bible mentions purgatory? Please answer that question. But Yanni, understand that my chat rate right now is 15. My chat rate normally runs between 3 and 5 or 7. So as long as it runs like this, it helps my algorithms. That's why I don't mind. I got through my material. I'm already over time right now. I'm at 2 hours and 3 minutes. So I've done my time for tonight, and I'm having fun with this. This is interesting. Yeah, but it is just a troll, but that's okay. We can still use this as a reflecting board that we can use to have a discussion about this. Here he goes again. Non-Catholics aren't Christian. I could ban you for that. You're calling names. You're telling me I'm not Christian. You are shitting on my faith on my channel in my chat room. You're a piece of shit. But you're helping my algorithms, so I let you stay. The Bible has about 200 different names. I know hell was added later. Hell was one of the things in the Bible that was kind of added later because the kings needed more power over the subjects. And the best way to scare people is big scary God comes down from cloud and pisses, whatever. That's how they did it back then, unfortunately. Oh, did I run you off? Have a good life. I'm a USIB. Does anybody know what that means? You know, if you're going to call me names, at least call me something I know. I don't think he was even a Catholic or a Christian or anything. He's one of these leftists that was trying to get an angle on me. I'm a bad soul. Here's what I learned tonight. I'm a libtard. I'm a bad soul. And I'm not a Christian. That's what I learned tonight from this guy. So thanks a lot, guy. I'm a bad soul. I ran him off. I love running trolls off. It's my goal to keep talking to them until they frickin' leave on their own power. I like to let them limp out of the chat room, if you know what I mean. It's called the walk of shame. Yeah, dispatch, I think he's gone. I don't think he's going to tell you anything because he's a coward. It's probably Lead Farmer and that other one, and they're probably all the same people. At least we're not talking about the ARRL field day. Yeah. If I have a club to do winter field day with, I'll do winter field day. I live in Florida. We don't do summer field day much down here. I won't. I'm not going to go out and sit in the 97 frickin' degrees. And they've got all these rules about what you can have and can't have, and you got to be outside in the heat and all this bullshit. I hate the ARRL. And this is their event, so I don't have nothing to do with it. Now, the winter one has nothing to do with the ARRL, and I'm usually very active at winter field day. I have 3 different clubs I've participated with on Winterfield Day. But I don't care about Summerfield Day. Don't care at all. It's not something I worry about because it's too hot to do it, number one, and it's sponsored by the ARRL, which is the biggest problem with ham radio right now. Yeah, I hear the lift rates are ridiculous. Oh, that's funny. Yep. All right, guys. I successfully ran him off. I'm an abuse charity. Have you guys ever heard anybody called an abuse charity before? What does that mean? Well, if you were local, you could. I'm going to be on TV every day from 5 to 7 p.m. on the local CW6 channel here. We're still going to be on 92.5 FM and on TuneIn, on 92.5 Fox Radio, Fox News on TuneIn. We're on all the places we've already been, also 46-5. But now we're also going to be on 46-1 in visual, and we're going to be on the CW6 on cable down here. I don't believe it's being streamed online yet, but it will be. And as soon as it is, I'll let you know. Well, Heath, I do have a face for radio. Ian Punnett used to say that on Coast every time he'd come on. He'd go, "Hey, it's Ian Punnett, the guy with the face for radio and the voice for print." I used to love that. But yeah, I'm not camera ready, and I'm not wearing makeup. I just have to shave every other day, keep my mustache trimmed, and wear nice shirts. I mean, that's about as good as I'm going to get. Yeah, well, Yanni, it started before you got here, and he just went on and on attacking my faith, attacking everything we do here. Whatever, it don't matter. He's just a troll. He'll be back. Maybe next time he'll be called lead farmer, or he'll be called whatever he decides to call himself. They do have filters, but we're not using any of that. I just found out today we're going to be using OBS to put up stuff on the screen during the show, and I'm moving from the producer position. I'm still listed as the executive producer of the show, but I'm moving from the producer's position behind the board to the co-host position, basically. Now, they're not officially calling me a co-host or anything. They're not putting my name on the show. But I am moving. I'm going to continue to be the executive producer of the show, and I'm moving into the studio with Trey. So him and I will both be sitting there, and the camera will be seeing both of us. And then I have a camera switcher in there, and I can go just on him, on both of us, the screen on this, the screen on that. I have different things that I can take live while we're on the air. So that's going to be really cool. And my job will be to talk to him and do the video portion of the show, pretty much. I'm going to be putting up visuals and videos and different things, which you guys know I'm good at. I've been doing it here. That's why when they talked to me about it, he asked me the other day, he goes, "How good are you with OBS?" And I said, I don't ever say this, but I'm going to say it right now. I'm an expert with OBS. I know that program better than probably any other program in the world. And he's like, well, that's what we're going to put in there. So in a few days, probably sometime next week, I'll be starting to work in there. And I'm going to have OBS, and then I'm going to have the OBS output over here going to TV. It's going to be pretty cool. Heath, they're working on it. They've put a lot of money and time into getting this on the air like this. And Trey's numbers are so good on the radio, there's a chance he's going to give the big TV channel a run for their money on the ratings. I'm telling you, it could get interesting. Yeah, we both play back and forth like that. The biggest thing Trey and I have is comedic timing because we've worked together for 15 years minus the 3 years he was out. So we're talking 12 years. I produced him for 12 years. I produced him 4 hours every morning for years in the morning show. And then he left and went to Congress. And then when he came back from Congress, they started the afternoon show for him. And they called me and said, "We want you to produce this show." And I produced this show from day one. Oh, that's cool, Dispatch. We'll do it. All right, guys, last call for the chat room. I'm going to call it. Last call for the chat room. Anybody have anything else? Let me know. Ooh. All right, let's see. Well, thanks, Heath. I appreciate it. Jeez. I was told I wasn't a Christian tonight. Do you believe that? And yeah, told I wasn't a conservative either. Oh well. uh, by the way, I went to his channel, the MPBXR channel, and his description is more about this channel. He has 13 subscribers, no videos, no lives, no shorts, not even a description of the channel. And his picture is a soccer ball. And so there you go. That's these people they create as many of these fake names as they want, and that's how they do it. Let me see if I can find that one. Oh, there it is. I found it. All right, guys, we'll play a song on the way out tonight, and then the closer. You guys have a good night out there, and we'll see you guys back tomorrow night right here at 9 o'clock Eastern for another Sights and Sounds of Earth. And maybe we'll get attacked by the Protestants tonight. Who knows? All right, guys, we'll see you later. That's a joke. Just kidding. All right. Or maybe it'll be the atheist, or you know what? Maybe it'll be an attack of the agnostics. Anyway, yeah, you did, but you didn't miss a whole lot. It was literally senseless horse shit coming out of his typewriter the whole time. Anyway, whatever, ridiculous mess. And that's the way that goes. All right, guys, I'm going to end this with the song. This is a request, and then the closer and opener after that. We'll see you guys later, back tomorrow night. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth, right here on Starship Adventures. My name's Ian. We'll see you guys next time on the next adventure, or perhaps down the log. 7-3s, everybody. 7-3.
Yeah, this one's for the red, white, and blue. And the man who fights for it. No apologetic patriotism. Packed with vivid imagery of trucks, beer, guns, women, and living free. Production is loud, polish it wrong, polish it around, polish it wrong. When a melody fires for no apologies, a straight fire, let's roll. Woke up this morning feeling damn proud. Star stripes and waving, crowd screaming loud. Donald's back in the game, making America great. Tax cuts flowing, putting money on my plate. Unemployment low, jobs for every man. Black, white, Hispanic, you net in the land. Supreme Court locked with justice is true. Overturning the mess that the left tried to brew. Border wall strong, illegals turning back. No more free rides on the taxpayers' back. Hell yeah, Trump. Patriot fire in your veins. Fighting for freedom through the pouring rain. No backing down, no sorry ass plea. America first, that's the way it should be. From the heartland to the sea, we stand tall with Donald leading, we won't ever fall. Patriots rise, let the eagles fly high. This is our country under God's blue sky. Energy booming, oil rigs pumping hard. Independent now, no more begging in the yard. Abraham Accords, peace in the Middle East. While haters cry foul, he's slaying the beast. Warp speed vaccine, saving lives in a flash. Criminal justice reform, cutting through the trash. Veterans get choice, no more waiting in line. Trade deals with nigga cheating, making China wine. Regulation blast, saving billions quick. Economy roaring like a monster truck kick. Hell yeah, Trump. Patriot fire in your veins. Fighting for freedom through the pouring rain. No backing down, no sorry ass plea. America first, that's the way it should be. From the heartland to the sea, we stand tall with Donald leading, we won't ever fall. Patriots rise, let the eagles fly high. This is our country under God's blue sky. But look at the fools trying to tear it apart. Socialist snakes with a black-hearted start. 10 pine, 10 walls with a joke of a guard. Putting pads in boys' rooms, man, that's low. Instead of the riots, let the cities burn bright. Now begging for peace when it's out of sight. Somali fraud in Minnesota, stealing the vote. Election scams running, choking our throat. Illegals pouring in, fraud on the rise. While real Americans open their eyes. Are these ICE protests stupid as hell? Anti-American trash, ringing the bell, blocking the streets, assaulting the law. Socialist puppets with a economy flaw. Blow up dinosaurs, guitar strumming clowns, Portland frog hopping, turning smiles to frowns. They hate our borders, want chaos to reign. Funded by Soros, driving us insane. Tampa Tim and his crew, inciting the fight. Now crying uncle when the flames burn bright. Somali schemes, voting dead from the grave. But Trump's coming back to clean up the rave. No apologies here, we're calling it straight. These riots are garbage, sealing the fate. Hell yeah, Trump, patriot fire in your veins. Fighting for freedom through the pouring rain. No backing down, no sorry ass plea. I'm America first, that's the way it should be. From the heartland to the sea, we stand tall. Donald leading, we won't ever fall. Patriots rise, let the eagles fly high. This is our country under God's blue sky. Amen. Space Force launch. Stars in our grass, religious freedom, no more liberal class. Drug prices dropping, saving folks from the pain. I boom and putting us ahead in the game. Tariffs hitting hard, bringing jobs back home. No more selling out to the globalist dome. Government efficiency, cutting the fat dose of initiative. Yeah, we like that. Pardons for the brave, January 6th crew. Fighting for truth, what the hell would you do? Back to the protests, what a pathetic parade. Anti-law lunatics getting paid to invade. Throwing bottles at agents, obstructing the way. Comparing the floor just to lead us astray. Traffic jammed up, threats in the air. Widespread madness, do they even care? Tampa Tim hiding, calling off the dogs now after fanning the flames. Like a sacred cow, Somali fraud queen. Twisting the rules, but patriots know when nobody's fools. Just a cow restricts, make us cow, huh? Now these niggas go risk and wanna done. No city for me, the song said it comatenic. Fingers and gifts, Parthegus authentic. Hell yeah, Trump, patriot fire in your veins. Fighting for freedom through the pouring rain. No backing down, no sorry ass plea. On your never first, that's the way it should be. From the heartland to the sea, we stand tall. We're down leading, we won't ever fall. Patriots rise, the eagles fly high. This is our country under God's blue sky. Yeah, that's how we do it. Charles Rub, Regis Net, back down.
This is the YouTube channel Starship Adventures, broadcasting live from Starship Studios in North Fort Myers, Florida, in the United States of America. We thank you for joining us this evening for another broadcast of the Sights and Sounds of Earth, covering every breaking news story across this troubled planet of ours. We brought you the raw, unfiltered pulse of the world in real time through our unique multi-screen format, broadcasting in high definition worldwide via fiber optic connection. Starship Adventures, a new kind of YouTube content. To our regular viewers, our loyal crew members, our amazing moderators, and everyone who tunes in each night at 9 p.m. Eastern, we thank you. Your support keeps this independent voice alive and well. We'll be back tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Eastern with another live edition of the Sights and Sounds of Earth, right here on Starship Adventures. Until then, stay safe, stay informed, and may God bless you and these United States of America. This is Starship Adventures, and this concludes our broadcast day. Good night, America, and around the world. Kilo Oscar 4, Echo Foxtrot Sierra, signing off. QSY, 7 3s, everyone, 7 3s.